Hello everyone and welcome to the Irish in the UK, and I'm sure you all enjoyed the last half hour with Henry McGlade. Now coming up tonight we're at the Spirit of Manchester Awards. We'll be attending the Irish World Heritage Centre for a coffee morning, and we'll be joining the parishioners from St Mary's Church in Stockport who are celebrating 150 years of the church and parish. So sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Now recently the Spirit of Manchester Awards were held at the Sheridan Suite in Manchester, and we went along to meet some of the people involved. Lord Mayor, what a wonderful night for the Spirit of Manchester.
It is a wonderful night. This is a celebration of the contribution that voluntary organisations and the community sector give to the people of Manchester. It's all about people living in the city of Manchester, volunteering in the city of Manchester and helping everybody else out. I mean, the incredible figure that there's, I think it was 111,000 volunteers who volunteer in some way or other amongst the people of Manchester. We've got a population of 560,000, so that basically means that 1 out of every 5 people is involved in volunteering in some way. Some are able to do more than others, some do a little bit less, but that contribution is tremendous and we're celebrating that this evening.
Kirsty, now you're one of the judges tonight. Tell me about the judging and how you decide on all these wonderful people.
So we got a list of everyone that had competed in the competition, and we then voted on the top 3 in each category, and then that was open to the judging that's open this evening.
It's still very difficult here for everybody. Then it goes through an open vote, of course, but it's very difficult for anybody to choose. There's so many great categories.
Well, exactly. I mean, everyone is a deserving winner, even those that weren't shortlisted into the final 3 for each category. So it's a very, very difficult choice for everyone, and everyone has done so well this evening.
There's so many volunteers in Manchester, unbelievable.
Yes, I can't believe how many people volunteer for the project that I support, and also we get a lot of those guys that come to us through MAC, so it's a really, really big event in the calendar now for Manchester.
Can you tell me a little bit about Anson Community Shop?
Yeah, the Anson Community Shop was formed last year to help people on a budget, can't always afford it, and also to prevent isolation amongst people.
You also, sell food to people that can't... Yeah.
It's £2.50 and they get 8 items of shopping, and all this food we get is also stopping it all from going to landfill as well. We get it from Fair Share, Tesco, all donations and stuff. Come on, anyone else?
Well, what's donated to us, we give out to other people. What's donated, we never charge them. That doesn't come in the £2.50.
Well, listen, congratulations on your wonderful award tonight. Each and every one of you deserve it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Steve, can you tell me why are you here tonight?
I'm here because I work with a lot of the groups that are represented here, and I've been invited down to see how some of the groups are doing and see who's winning the rewards and to celebrate the work that's happening in Manchester with the voluntary sector. I'm also representing Donegal and the family from Donegal, so a big shout out to all the Conways in Donegal.
Yes, why not indeed. And listen, tonight of course the Spirit of Manchester is truly alive.
It is indeed, because there's huge amounts of activity, there's huge amounts of good work and goodwill that's done by the people of Manchester.
And of course it's great to see that a lot of people that volunteer here has been honoured tonight. It's a great thing for them, and it's a great privilege for them all to be here as well and to be recognised.
It is indeed, because there's a huge amount of work that goes on, lots of work that's unrecognised, lots of people giving lots of time, lots of effort and lots of energy to help the people of Manchester and help the communities of Manchester, and this event tonight is superb.
Bernie, of course you had the privilege tonight of winning the Sylvia Sham Award. Tell me what you do at Talbot House.
First of all, I am so humbled to receive that award in Sylvia's name. I knew the woman, an amazing woman. And me, I manage a service called Talbot House. It's for the parents of people, children and adults with severe learning disability. They could have an added physical disability, but that's the criteria. The main aim is get mum and dad said okay, and the kids will be okay, and that's our aim.
How long has Talbot House been in existence?
It's been in existence 40 years this year. It was started by 4 parents with a small dream, and now it's a big dream, established.
And you've been there every step of the way?
Every step of the way. I fell in there, a shivering mass of humanity, when I gave birth to my son who has Down syndrome. I didn't know what to do, where to go. Nobody seemed to understand how I feel, except another parent, and that did it.
Now, how many people do you care for at Talbot House?
On my database now, I have 1,000 families, right? They come intermittently. If I have a nice resource centre, if they want big benefit forms filling in, they have to make an appointment. But other than that, they drop in. Cup of tea, cup of coffee, biscuit. What we do is, the main aim is to relieve the caring. So whatever, just for that day even. So I'll run a pamper service, a nail service, carers lunches, as well as doing all the strategy stuff for them. I know that when they're having the nails done, they're not thinking about the kid. Relief for that day.
Ronnie, how has Talbot House helped you?
I found out about Talbot House on the radio, and when I become a mum at 60, I didn't know some things, and I went in Talbot House and I got a cup of tea, a shoulder to cry on, and everything I need, where to get Winceyette knickers, where to that, because I didn't know that. I'd only been Carol's brother before. Now I'm a mum, and I had 35 years of experience, and every day I go there is wonderful. Without Talbot House, I don't think I'd be here today.
And does Carol like going to Talbot House?
What do you do at Talbot House?
A cup of tea and have a talk.
Everybody is friendly, and any problems you got, stay in Talbot House, because everybody there is in the same position or has been in the same position.
We had a top night at the Sheridan Suite, and congratulations to everyone who received awards on the night. Now, we are off to the Irish World Heritage Centre in Manchester for a coffee morning. Julie, you've had wonderful support for the coffee morning.
We have indeed, yeah. We've had loads. All our suppliers have donated something. Not even a hesitation when we ask, because you don't really like asking, really, do you? So every time we've asked someone, they've all said, yeah, of course, anything, what would you like? So we've had lots of prizes, hampers, bottles of wine, toys, chocolates, biscuits, anything you can think of. There's absolutely loads of stuff.
You'll be here all day doing this raffle.
I know. Yeah, we've done it so everyone goes home with a little something, hopefully.
And it's all for a good cause, because Macmillan Cancer Support does wonderful work.
Yeah, especially the nurses, they go out to their patients looking after them, anything they need, financial help and filling out forms and everything, you know, letting them know what goes on and what's going to happen, etc.
And Sinead, it's been a real team effort here at the Irish World Heritage this morning.
Yeah, definitely. The whole team's pulled together, whether that's from the centre themselves or Irish Community Care, and of course the outside community who came in and helped today.
It's great to see good support here as well.
There's always support here, Martin. Yeah, I know. We're always supporting one another.
I'm glad you've got a smile on your face, Sinead. You're a great Galway girl, of course, and Liam is in Galway this year.
Yeah, the family are from Galway, so yeah, great win for Galway in the hurling, and of course Dublin in the Sam Maguire Cup. Yeah.
Of course. Now, look at Julie, it's great to see the Irish World Heritage Centre getting busier all the time.
It is really busy at the moment. It's been such a change over the last couple of months. Everything's thriving. It's really fantastic. We've got a little Halloween party coming up now on Halloween itself. for the children in the main hall, so everyone's welcome there and it's free of charge.
It's great to be here today at the Irish World Heritage Centre and supporting the Macmillan charity. This centre has a record and a really good vibe for supporting various charities across Manchester. So it's really pleasing to be here today, and I think the charitable organisations and work that happens in this centre is second to none. So yes, it's great to be here.
And that speaks for itself with the amount of people that's turned out to support it this morning.
Oh, it's wonderful. You know, it's like long lost friends and brothers, sisters, and it's just really great to see them actually enjoying themselves, but more importantly, raising the much needed funds for the Macmillan Charity Appeal. So it's great as well. So it's double whammy, isn't it really? You actually do get to see long lost friends and also have a nice chat.
Now, you're a very busy lady. Of course, you're councillor here in Manchester. You're Deputy Lord Mayor. What's your ward?
My ward is Miles Patton Newton Heath ward. It's just near the Etihad Stadium. It's in East Manchester.
Do you have much of an Irish community in your ward?
We do. We have a long-established Irish community. We have first, second, third generational Irish people who have decided to settle not just in my ward but also across Manchester, and it's great to see. Then they come from all parts of Ireland, not just one part, and it's great to actually see them being settled, but more importantly, supporting this centre as well.
It's great to see so many people trying to raise money for Macmillan Cancer Support. Now we need to take a quick break. See you soon. Welcome back to the Irish in the UK. Now, Henry McGlade is back next Thursday evening at 7 o'clock with the Irish at home and abroad, and I'm here at 7:30 with the Irish in the UK. Now, St Mary's Church in Stockport has been in existence for 150 years, and we went along to meet some of the people who's been involved with the parish for a very long time. Roger, how long have you been a parishioner here at St Mary's?
I've been a parishioner here for 20 years, where I've made lots of friends within the parish and see it expand slowly but surely.
Now, tell me a little bit about the history of St Mary's.
Well, the history of St Mary's is very extensive, and it goes back 150 years. One of the most remarkable things that happened in that period was in 1931, when a bishop in America, who was related to the parish priest here, gave all these lovely stained glass windows to the parish. And another remarkable thing happened a few years later, when there was a miracle reported about a crown of roses that existed for 5 months on the statue of Our Lady. This brought people in from all over the world to see this supposed miracle. But after 5 months, it was eventually realised that the altar boy kept changing the roses.
So no miracles after all that?
No. But the marvellous attribute that this supposed miracle gave the church was the Carrara marble altar and sanctuary, which came from Italy, which is behind me now.
And of course, in the Great War, a lot of parishioners from this parish died in that war, didn't they?
Yes, unfortunately, yes. We have a brass plaque with 81 parishioners' names on it, which is to the right of the altar.
Now, Maggie, of course you've been involved in this area for a long time as well, but you're involved in slightly something different. It's called I Love Heaton Norris. Tell me about it.
That's correct. Roger and I joined a small group of people who are residents in the area, because we realised of the 4 Heatons in Stockport, and we're Heaton Norris, it seemed the poorer area. So we thought, what can we do? So we asked all the locals, what is it you'd like to change in the area? And of course they loved it because it's so local to the town centre, the city centre, Manchester, the airport, etc. However, there were things like we need some gardening, doing tidy up, because the council can't afford to be everywhere all of the time. So we got a group together who were interested in tidying up, make raised beds. You can go on our website and see a beautiful raised bed, and we've put flowers in there in a really tatty area just behind the local pub that nobody really thought anything of. But now it's lovely, it's blooming. So that's one of our successes, really. We were very fortunate to have our historian in the area join our group, and he's written books about the history and in the area. So he actually came to us and said, would you like me to do a walking trail? So he's designed a leaflet, one of these, which I'm sure you'll be able to look at later, that opens up, and in there are lots of different areas that you move from one to the other, and there's little bits of history about each place underneath the photograph. And this church is in that, and the miracle is mentioned too.
Maggie, you were born in County Mayo. How long have you been in Stockport?
Since I was 4, so that's quite a few years, since 1958. Yes, we moved into the Heatons, and we were in the St Winifred's parish, which is linked to this one, and then we moved closer to this one, so we came here when Father Murphy ruled it very fiercely. And we've seen many different priests. There was some very young one that my parents took under their wing. Used to come to our house and sit in the rocking chair and feel very cosy. He was an Irish lad, of course. So yes, my Irish family are very warm to this parish.
I think a celebration of an anniversary of any parish is well worth celebrating, because it gives us a chance to look back at all that's been achieved. And this has been a very important parish here in Stockport, and has really a very good history over the years. And 150 years is a wonderful sense of history, isn't it, with all the changes that have gone on right through the Industrial Revolution in this area, and this community growing and thriving.
And we've met quite a few of your parishioners that's been here for 60, 70 years, which is great to know.
That's right, and even the organist this evening has just told me that she'd been playing the organ here for 70 years, so that's quite an achievement. There was a priest here who was here for the celebration of the centenary when he was a young priest 50 years ago. So there's a great sense of continuity in the history of the church in the Diocese of Salford. It's always worth celebrating.
Yeah, and St Mary's is hidden away here in Stockport. I actually never knew where it was until we come up here tonight. It's a lovely church, nestling in the hills, you could say.
Well, yes, of course, it was right in the centre of a residential area until they put the motorway in, and we're now on a precipice just hanging over the motorway, which of course makes this church really quite inaccessible for an awful lot of people, unfortunately. So the planning there wasn't really for our benefit.
Now, Bishop John, I know that you've had a very special meeting last Wednesday. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, last Wednesday we launched what we call Hope in the Future, and in the cathedral nearly all the parishes of the diocese were represented by priests and people. The place was packed, and we have launched what we believe is the right pastoral response to our consultation. We spent a lot of time thinking about the parishes and the structure of the diocese in a geographical sense, and now this is our pastoral response, because Pope Francis is asking us to be missionary disciples in mission parishes, and that's going to take a good deal of learning and relearning, and so we're now on the way. And the first stage is about parishes looking at themselves to see what there is already there to celebrate the good work that's being done and to be able to share the best practice.
Now, with the amalgamation of churches coming together, obviously it's going to mean it more difficult for the older generation, older parishioners to get to church. How do you see that working out?
Well, with the size of the Diocese of Salford, even with the closures of about 20 churches, no one's going to be very far from a church at all. But I think that it's part of looking at our parish life to make sure that people are never isolated or forgotten about or alone or marginalised within our communities.
Is there quite a lot of consultation still to go on about this, you know, about which churches are going to be closed and where they're going to be closed and so on?
No, we've had a full consultation with the people of the diocese and with the priests, and we have our plan, and now that's got to be implemented. And a lot of those amalgamations will go ahead now because there are several priests retiring. So this is an opportunity to make the right decisions now. Some other amalgamations will come a little bit later, but I hope that they'll all be in place in 2 or 3 years. And the consultation began nearly 2.5 years ago. So we've taken our time, but I think the plan is as good as we can make it, and now we've got to implement it for everyone's good.
I've been in the parish now all my life, which is 70 years. I was born into the parish, came to Mass every Sunday, came over the park, through the bowling greens, down through the Bonkins, through the swing park, down to church. I was married in this parish. My father came in this parish before me. He came to school here as well. So it's really been my life. My children came to this school as well, and now my grandchildren are now coming to this school. So it's really been just a whole part of my life.
You must have seen so many changes here in the parish, and of course with the congregation as well.
I have. There's been big changes within the parish. I mean, when I can remember our old wooden altar. The altar was a wooden altar, and our parish priest then, who was very, very strict at the time, and can remember sitting down just below the pulpit and him shouting from the pulpit if anybody made a wrong move. You really were in fear then. You were just total respect really for the clergy at that time. And you daren't miss Mass on a Sunday. And then you'd come to school and the teacher would ask you what the vestments were the next day, what was the sermon about. And the particular teacher I'm thinking about, our classroom joined on to the presbytery, and she used to say, if you tell lies, the priest is at the other side of that wall and he can hear you. And yeah, so you really did. You know, you had to sort of toe the line.
Now, Doreen, of course, you, like Mary, you spent all your life here in this parish as well. But a great occasion tonight, we're celebrating 150 years with the bishop here.
Yes, it's been really, really nice for us all to celebrate, especially since my great-grandparents came to this parish in 1864, which was even before the parish was established. They lived where the motorway is now at the moment. They had family here, their family got married here. My grandmother got married here in 1899, and so my association with the parish is a very long one. And I think that the tradition of church and everything that went on at church, you had the Agnesians, they held dances, they had socials. It was the heart of the community, and it's been very changed in the last 50 years since the motorway came. The parish was cut in half, and it's a very sad day to think that we might close sometime, but I can see that the way things are, it's inevitable that eventually some things have to change.
I really enjoyed meeting so many great people who's been involved with the parish down the years. Now, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Don't forget, we're back next Thursday evening at 7 o'clock for the Irish at home and abroad, and 7:30 for the Irish in the UK. Thank you for watching.